I love it. Okay. So you're on your third album. Excuse me. What album number is?
This in albums, this is fourth.
Okay.
Mixtapes, I lost track. Right,
Okay.
eight.
Which do you like to do better, or what's the difference for those who don't know? What's the difference between an album and a mixtape?
Um, and it could be multiple differences, but I think back when I was coming up, mixtapes was like you took like Lil Wayne for instance. He used to take people's original mainstream instrumental or beat, and he would record over it and do his own thing. But he couldn't put it out mainstream because they was other people's beats, so copyright issue. So now I say mixtapes, they aren't as um, what's the word? They aren't as cleaned up. They aren't as production ain't as much. They aren't as I'm trying to think of the words, like they just ain't in an album format, like of how much work you would put in on an album. Mixtapes are normally shorter. It takes a shorter time for you to put them out. Just a bunch of random songs. They don't really have a structure.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And what's the point of mixtapes?
For me, the point of mixtapes was to get my name out there. I think what helped me out was I was in the military and I knew people from so many different states, even countries.
Mm-hmm.
One of my most popular mixtapes ever to this day was called Columbus Day the Mixtape. So my real name is Columbus.
Okay.
I named it Columbus Day because that is a holiday, that a lot of people don't like, but
Right.
it was just great marketing for me,
I bet it was.
and at the time when I dropped this, like I said, it was around Columbus Day. My job, I was working security, or as a master at arms, and I was on the ship. I was in the Navy. I was on the ship, so I was one of the guys you would see when you walk on the ship.
Mm-hmm.
Because you had to put your stuff, your book bag through the scanner. We had to do the metal detector up on you and this and that. So what I used to do, I pressed up a whole bunch of CDs when I had this mixtape, and I just passed them out to people that came on the ship. And so, people I knew, people I didn't know, but I just pressed up a whole bunch of CDs. I just started passing them out for free, and I was getting my name out there. And that's how, like I say, to this day, people will be like, man, they send me pictures like, hey, I still got this mixtape, even past Columbus Day, just passed. They sent me pictures, man, I still got this Columbus Day mixtape. You just don't know what this did to me back then when I put it out. Yeah, you talking about this was 2008, 2009, 10 or something like that.
Agree.
Right, and they still talking about it.
That's wonderful.
It's a lot
How
of
many
years
people
ago.
will say that?
Not too many people can say it. But,
So you're on the ship and passing it out to everyone, and
they still
reaching out
talking
to
about it to this day.
Oh man.
Songs that still touch them. Like, man, you was talking about this back then. Like, I can't forget the time we had. We was listening to this song. And,
So go ahead and share with the audience the time that you spent in the military, starting with the moment you signed your name
okay.
to the dotted line. What year did you enroll into the military?
The year I enrolled into the military was 2007. The start to, what you asked me, that's a long story, but
Okay.
I'll give you a shortening of it. So how that came to be, like I said, I moved up here to Kansas my junior year, so the next year, my senior year, just like everybody, all kids, parents ask what you want to do when you get, done with school, My dad had one of them talks with me, again, father-son talks. I remember like it was yesterday. We was at a China buffet. We was picking up food for the family. We in the parking lot. And he like, hey man, like, you don't have to give me a full, complete, plan, but I just want to ask, I hope you've been thinking about what you want to do after school, but just tell me, just give me some of what you thinking. I completely didn't know anything. Like I didn't. All I knew was, man, video games and playing basketball at the park with my friends. Like I didn't know anything, And so it just came out of my mouth. I just said, if I don't have it figured out by the end of the first semester, I'm gonna join the military. I just said it. I don't know where that came from. He previously was in the Air Force. He did 6 years, but this was so long ago that it didn't have any influence on me. I wasn't alive. I really don't know where it came from. I just said it, and so because I said it, I had to own up to it. And that was the whole reason why I went, because I had to own up to what I said, and I completely don't know where it came from. And so the end of the first semester came, and I had to own up to it. And so I went to go do my ASVAB. For some reason, it was in my head that I was gonna go to the Coast Guard. I don't know why. I just was like, I'm gonna go to the Coast Guard, you know. And so I had a recruiter and everything. He did the ASVAB with me. I went to MEPS. I did all that. And so the weird thing about it was that, you know, like I said, I did my ASVAB. I wanted to get a higher score. I had a high enough score to get in and, you know, to get, you know, good jobs. But I wanted to try it again because I wanted to get a higher score for more jobs to open up for me because, you know, within, you could do it twice, I think. And then your third time, I think you got to wait 6 months or something like that. So I wanted to do it again. And so some strange reason, I'll say this was in God's plan, my recruiter just up and moved to Mississippi and didn't call me, didn't tell me anything. I don't even know how I found this out, to be honest with you. And so he just up and moved, and so I didn't have a recruiter anymore. And so I just I went again the second time on my own, and the day before, I was with my friends partying, doing some stuff that I shouldn't have been doing, you know, that night, and up too late, knowing that I had the ASVAB test in the morning. And we went to the ASVAB test a little, you know, drowsy or hungover from the night before, right? And so I fall asleep while in the middle of the test, and a lady came in the room and was like, hey, you gotta wake up. You can't be She yelled at me. I mean, you gotta wake up. You can't be. I looked at my boy. I'm like, hey man, we gotta keep each other up. You know what I mean? We can't be doing this even though we can't talk to each other. I'm like, man, we gotta keep each other up, bro. Like this is big, man. So.
How long was the test?
This ASVAB test about 3-4 hours or something like that. It's very long. Like I said, I should not have been up that late, out partying, kicking it with my boys. And so I fell asleep again. The lady came in and grabbed me and was like, you done. Whatever you got is what you got. And I'm like, dang. And so when it's like, now I want to say I couldn't go back on my first score now. I had to only let it can only be that score. They couldn't take the first score no more. And so Coast Guard, and I'm being honest with you with the numbers. Coast Guard, I want to say you needed a 39 to get in. Remember, I was Coast Guard for some reason. I don't know. I was just like, I'm gonna just go Coast Guard. And so I know why, because my sister, my oldest sister, she was Army. She was still in Army. She was like, don't do Army and don't do Marines. So I'm like, okay, eliminate those two. Not that I, but so that's why it was Coast Guard. I'm like, I don't know why, but so. Me and my dad walked into the MEP station, or not the MEP station, but the recruiting station. We go to the Coast Guard. I give him my score. I say, this is my score. He say, well, son, this is too low. You need a 39 to get in. I say, well, dang. Well, walked across the hallway. It was the Navy office. I'm like, hey, this is my score. What do I need to get in? Well, you need a 35. Oh, I got a 35. Well, I'll listen to what you got to say then. And that's really how it happened. And I talked to him about it. He hit me with you can see the world, travel the world, and then he hit me with that. And like I said, I had to own up to joining the military because it was Coast Guard. I couldn't go Coast Guard. My score was too low. I needed to wait another 6 months to take the test. I didn't want to wait. I wanted to leave. Mm-hmm. I already had this adversity hitting me, getting out of school. These other kids already know what they want to do in college, and I don't want to be stuck back, and I felt like I was getting in a little too much trouble too, and I'm like, nah, I need to leave. So what's up? And so I talked to him, and we put it in motion. So he began to be my new recruiter and just put things in motion, and I left.